the reason why we need to design for accessible reasons is Section 508, which was actually created back in 1998 and was later defined in 2000 by the Access Board. And so all federal institutions, including the university here, have to make websites accessible for everybody. And so one of the things that people that are visually impaired use are screen readers. And the one we're going to use today is called JAWS. And what screen readers do is they take the screen and the code on the web page and actually convert it into text and take the text and they read it aloud to you. And this way you get a better idea of what the website looks like. Now, the only thing, visually impaired doesn't actually mean not being able to see. It can also mean color blindness. Maybe it means you have glaucoma, which means you can't actually see a full picture. And so what we've tried to do is teach you how to design for all these visual impairments. So the first one we're going to talk about is color blindness. Actually, what we want you to do first, is we're going to turn off the projectors, and we're going to let JAWS read through a website for you guys. And on the back of your handouts, if you just draw what this website looks like based off what the screen is telling you.
Yeah.
And let's see how close everybody can get.
Yeah, no peeking over there.
Second, my thoughts are profound. Green is my favorite color for first.
Close your eyes.
Close my eyes. Don't look. Close them. Don't look.
Close your eyes.
Don't cheat. Don't cheat.
Don't stick it in front of our face. Goodness.
Exactly.
I'm only so ethical.
So what you're gonna have to do is turn off the projector.
Yeah, we're gonna have to turn off.
You'll still be able to see it on your screen up there.
Oh, change websites.
Because it takes a minute for it to load up, but
I didn't think of that before you guys started.
In the meanwhile, if you'd like to, we handed out a handout, and on there, if you brought a computer and would like to work along with us, there's a example. But does this working document show it?
Yeah,
Okay,
so
never
it should
mind.
get it.
Never mind. Okay.
have a listen.
A couple of examples. My home page profile. Table with 5 columns and 4 rows. Graphic. My thoughts second. My thoughts are profound. Green is my favorite color first. These are the thoughts that pass us by. They lighten up the day. Table and people you should know. Table with 3 columns and 3 rows. Name, age, birthday, Jackie, 5 April 5th, birth date, January 14th. Table and pick include. Be careful with table usage.
So as you can see, that sounded a little confusing. What we're going to try and do today, we're just going to take an inaccessible website, we're going to walk you through it, and just how to fix it properly.
Is that what it needs?
There are a couple of tables on there.
We'll bring up the projectors and show you actually what JAWS was reading.
I didn't picture anything like that.
By the way, we actually slowed JAWS down so you would be able to hear it. Normally, for someone with a visual impairment that uses JAWS, their average read time is about 300 words per minute.
Wow.
So that was slowed down significantly, so it gives you kind of an understanding of how fast they go through the website.
Okay, so this is one of the tables that was being read. This was the first one. If you scroll down a bit, you'll see the second table that was being read. And so, as you see, the color scheme of the website isn't the greatest. It's pretty tough to read. And so one of the things that needs to be checked out is actually color blindness. And so one of the websites that we use is called VisCheck. And what it does, it'll take your website and it'll convert it to different color blindness schemes. And so you can see right here is a red-green color deficiency, which affects about 5% of colorblind users. It's by far the most common. So when designing a website, you really don't want to make your website all red and all green. And then this is a little more rare. It affects about 1% of colorblind users. And this is a blue-yellow deficiency. And so as you can see, it really differs from the original website that we showed you. so what we want to try and do is make it so that the website looks somewhat unanimous throughout all color impairments. And so one of the things we do is we create high contrast between the background and the text. And so what we're going to use
Adobe Dreamweaver CS3 Untitled.
we are going to use a program called Adobe Dreamweaver.
CS3 Untitled.
And Dreamweaver is just basically a program that you can use to edit websites. And if any of you have Dreamweaver on your computer, you can go ahead and open up the website. There should be a link to it on your handout. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the background color first, as that's the most vibrant and outlandish color. And what we want to do is you usually want to try and get a shade of white, which will create a high contrast for your text. And so we're just going to use this dark shade of white. And then to contrast with the color text, we're going to change the text color to black. And just like that, I mean, the website looks so much easier to read. I think everybody can see it now. And so we also have a table down here, which we had showed you earlier. And so we're just going to change the color of that really quickly to white. And this way, everything is much easier to see, and colorblind users will be able to read your website much more easily. So next up, Kevin Ball is going to talk to you about code semantics and how we make websites accessible via code.
And again, my name's Kevin Ball. And just, if you guys would like to follow us along, we do have a link to the page, and the way you can get the code and be able to edit it with us is you right-click on the page, go to View Page Source, and then you can right-click on this and do Select All, right-click Copy, and then if you go down to Dreamweaver and you go to this code, which you can also go into View at the very top, and go to Code View, and if you just paste or select all from here and then paste, it'll give you all the code that we're working with right now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fix all the headers, because if you look at the way it's set out, it's very obvious to visual users that it's separated, that what is section 508 is a header, and what does it mean to be accessible is also a header. But if we have JAWS read it to us,
What is section 508? Section 508 that, blank. What does it mean to be accessible? Blank technology a task blank. Standards make the job easier.
okay. Alright, and as you can tell, it doesn't really have any audio cues that it's a header at all. If you read it from the beginning of the page, JAWS will tell you, JAWS will tell you how many headers are on the page, and as of right now,
F5.
F5.
There are no headings on this page.
Yeah, so a person with a visual impairment using a screen reader would come onto this page and not have any idea how long the page is, how many sections there are, anything like that. So if we go into Adobe Dreamweaver,
File///C.
and what we can do is we're using the split code view, which will show you the design view on the top and the code view on the bottom, because all we're going to be working with is design view. We're not going to go into any of the code at all, but we wanted to have it there just so you can see what it does to the code. So if you highlight what is section 508, that is the first header on the page, and it's what the entire page is about, so it's going to be a header 1. So if you go to paragraph format, you can choose heading 1. And then what does it mean to be accessible is a subsection of what is section 508, so it's one below that, and that would be a heading 2. Standards make the job easier, doesn't really pertain to what it means to be accessible, so that's a heading 2 as well. Same with section 508 standards for web accessibility. And a couple of examples is a heading 2. While my homepage profile is part of the couple of examples, so that would be a heading 3. And then heading 3. And this, the to conclude, would be a heading 3 as well, with more information as a heading 2. Now if we save that and preview it,
Heading level 1. What is section 508? Section 508 requires that electronic and information technology that is developed by or purchased by the federal agencies be accessible by people with disabilities. Heading level 2. What does it mean to be accessible? Is.
And as you can hear, it says heading level 1, heading level 2. It gives them some idea of what the content they have and what is it about, where is it sectioned off. Another thing that JAWS does that's pretty cool if you have headings is it'll let you navigate through them with just the headings. So
Standards make the job easier. Heading level 2. Section 508 standards for web accessibility that will be corrected on this document. Heading level 2. A couple of examples. At my home page profile. Heading level 3. People you should know. Heading level 3.
and as you can hear, he was just jumping through each of the headings, and it makes it a lot easier if you are using a screen reader to be able to just jump through the content that may be the same on every single page, or stuff you wanted to just skim over because you want to find a certain paragraph of content. And if you go to the very top of the page and hear it read, it'll tell you how many headings are in this section.
100%. Heading level 1. What is section 508? F5. 100%. 100%. F5. Center. Accessibility walkthrough. Page has one link. What is section 508? Section 5 requires 100%.